I thank you for taking the time to meet with me today, Mrs. Smith, and I thank you for taking the opportunity to give me an interview with you in your extremely fantastic company.
Welcome, Sean. Have a seat, and thank you for coming into totally legitimate banking. Who would be your first go-to in a situation involving an employee and or a manager?
I would say that it has to depend on who exactly the next higher up would be, because I wouldn't say, if it was directly a manager being involved in some scandalous or otherwise untoward activity, that I would just jump over their head and immediately go to corporate or whoever's above them. But I'm sure there's some sort of articles in place on, because a lot of these companies go through it at some point or another, some articles in place and procedure on how to handle this. And I'd try my best to stick or adhere to whatever the company had said was the right thing to do in that situation.
Why did you leave your previous places of employment?
Uh, if I had to put one word specifically on it, I would say commitments. My first job I left because I planned to attend my high school prom and had tried to work out scheduling beforehand. I need this day off specifically, and was told that I'd need to give a more advanced notice than 3 weeks in advance. So I wasn't going to let that stop my commitment of I wanted to go to prom. And now, when I left for Dollar General, that was because I was seeking out other ventures, trying to pad my resume. Came back to it because of why I left Pizza Hut, mainly due to the corruption and the terrible employment practices they had in place. A lot of lying, a lot of false reports, a lot of misinformation being sent upstairs to appease the people above her.
What would you do with knowledge that an employee is breaking flagrant rules?
I like to approach that in the rule of threes. You know, every a bad thing comes in threes. It's the first time I come up to you, I talk to you directly. Hey, what's going on? This is not as adequate as it should be, or this could be improved. Just sort of offer some help. See, if where exactly the problem lies in. But if I have to come back a second time to tell you, I'm still going to approach you, with the same niceties, the same understanding, the same one-on-one level of talk and commitment. But now I'm going to be watching you closer as a result, because I know that you're more prone to making a mistake, or that if there's just one thing you're doing that's leading to a cascading event of this becomes this becomes this becomes this, pours into other aspects of your job, then it's clear that we need to stop and break it down and figure out where the heck the problem is. But the third time I come back is usually not as nice. It's a lot more direct, and I'm telling you there is this as a problem. I'm telling you there is this as a solution, because I've had to come to you multiple times and it's still not sinking in. So maybe if I just lay all the cards out on the table, it'll be more beneficial for you. And that has sort of given me the, not moniker of being a mean or rude person, but that I have a limit. I have an established limit. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, that people know that you can only go so far with somebody, because that way they know there's a line that you can't cross. There's something to prevent you from just acting however you wanted to.
When was a time you had a workplace problem involving coworkers and you solved it?
Probably the one where I was working at Dollar General, and we've had various employees come in. They've had a bad day. They've lost their dog. Their power went out. There's just something from their outside life has affected their work life, and they're bringing it in with them. And we had this one girl, I won't name her, but she was having a very difficult time adjusting whenever her parents left, because they had moved away, and she'd never been alone before. She was having a hard time adjusting to living on her own and stuff like that. And so I didn't become a shoulder for her to cry on, but I became someone who was at least an outside source of understanding, so that way she didn't think that she was facing everything all on her own. She had someone out there who understood that everyone goes through these problems at some point. Everyone has issues with their parents leaving, their parents passing away, whatever it may be. and that's, you just need to take your time and work through it and grieve, and of course, just process your emotions. You just need, it's not, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's not going to be finished in a day. You can't expect your results to just pop up like that. You have to chip away at it layer by layer, and then, the more you take away over time, the more results you'll see in the fruit of whatever you're trying to bear.
What led to your landing on this job specifically?
I bounced around between a lot of job ideas, pathologist, physician's assistant, just various sort of science and medical based jobs and professions that I found a pretty good amount of inherent value in, but not an absolute answer that I was looking for. And this so far has been the one thing that I found I'm enjoying learning about it. I'm enjoying widening my view about it, and so far it's benefiting me as well. Nothing is yet to bite back. Of course, I realize there will be tougher times when things are harder and whatnot, but overall, so far, I've had a pretty beneficial experience from just pursuing this particular area of engagement and employment.
We appreciate your stopping in today, and we hope to hear back from you soon.
Well, I appreciate you all taking the time to interview with me, and I hope to hear back from you all soon as well. And I thank you for even considering me for this position.